Hey everyone, continuing in our series of videos of face angles, we'll be drawing faces tilted up and down. We'll be building on our previous knowledge of mapping the face and comparing the changes at each angle, so I highly recommend watching my previous videos on mapping the face to get comfortable with the basic guidelines. So without further ado, let's get back into it. Breaking it down to basic shapes and tilting the head up and down, we're rotating the face on a horizontal axis. So here the horizontal axis curves upwards when facing up and downwards when facing down. We'll tackle a head slightly tilted up first. So as always, we'll start with a circle as we put our basic guidelines down, splitting it into thirds, but also considering the plane and perspective. From there, we'll draw the outward curves upwards. One thing to note when the head tilts up is that the ears are placed relatively lower than the front-facing features. Another big aspect to remember as you tilt the head up is to consider the lower jaw plane as the face lifts and reveals more of the neck and everything connecting to the face. People may tend to just draw the chin as a V shape, but one should progressively draw the face flatter, then curving upwards to reveal the lower plane. For this angle, the jaw is more flat than curved upwards. But as we wrap this one up, we'll move towards a more extreme tilt upwards where the upward curvatures will increase. Starting on the next one, the face will be looking straight up, so we'll be more exaggerated in our lines. Notice the brow line is almost at the top, but we're still keeping the temple lines consistent. The front of the face actually bends outward like a piece of paper with the two ends stretched back. And the ears are placed even lower relative to the front features. Here, the eyes are almost slits as the round shape faces upwards. Notice the cheekbone curving upward, covering part of the eye, making the eyes crescent shaped. The nose is pretty much a triangle as a basic shape, and the mouth, relaxed, looks like a frown with the lips pouting out. This guy's bone structure looks sick. Let me help out the other guy to the left really quick. I want to define that lower jaw plane a little bit better. After comparing the angles, I feel like the placement is a little off, so I like how digital art is more forgiving. When drawing, don't be afraid of adjusting the placement or size. So here I just adjusted the placement using the lasso tool on Clip Studio, but if you're working on paper, a simple eraser and redraw also works. And after some refinements, we've completed the angles with the face tilted up. Now let's take a look at the planes and shadows at different angles. From the top left, the top right, and from the bottom. The angles tilting up gives me a more hopeful or grand mood, especially mixed with the shadows. Moving on to a downward tilt, we're just putting the basic guidelines in, but lower. As the neck bends slightly lower, the chin also goes lower as well. Here's the head broken down as a cube. As you can see, the top plane of the head is showing when the head is tilting down. The front plane has its axes curving downward to match the rounded curvature of the face. Now let's move on to drawing the form of the head. Opposite to the upward tilting face, the downward tilting face has ears placed relatively higher to the front features. Diving into drawing the features of the face, the main difference is that we're now following the downward curvature of the face outwards. So the lines are either going to be flatter when they are once curved upwards, and curved downwards if they were once flat. Let me just elongate his chin a little bit. I'm getting young Avatar Aang vibes from this one. Moving on to the next face, we're going more extreme with the basic guidelines, going even lower. A lot of the same steps, but the differences are more exaggerated. The angle downwards really gives the character a more menacing or brooding mood. Again, when I go extreme, I like to visualize the head three-dimensionally within a cube to get an idea of the planes. That top plane is really showing on this one, so I delineated a center line up top. Now let's round out the form of the face and add some features. A couple of quick comments. In the head tilting down, the brow line tilts downwards and progressively covers the upper eyelid as you tilt down more. Also, as the head tilts lower, the distance between the nose, the mouth, and the chin narrows due to foreshortening. And eventually, as you go more extreme, the mouth, and then eventually the nose jutting out, covers the lower areas of the face below. You can see this angle used a lot in some cliches when the character is about to go insane. And with that, we've done the face tilting down. Let's check out the planes and the shadows on these angles. From the top left, the top right, and the bottom. Using angles in combination with the shadows, you can make a wide variety of different moods and scenes just by slight changes in the face, with the angles and the shadows. To summarize, here are some quick tips when the face tilts up and down. First, the horizontal axis follows the curvature of the face, so draw your lines accordingly, either progressively upward curving or downward curving to match the tilt. Second, be mindful of the placement of the ears relative to the front of the facial features. Tilting up will have ears relatively lower than the facial features, and a head tilting down will have an ear relatively higher than the front-facing features. Third, when drawing an upward tilting face, don't forget the lower chin plane and curve the jaw either flat or upwards as you show more of the neck. With these tips, hopefully you can go out and create some pretty dramatic scenes with your characters. And with that, we wrap up our video. If you found this content helpful, please consider leaving a thumbs up below and subscribe if you want to see more content about creating comics and manga. If you're interested in seeing more face angles, please feel free to check out my previous videos on the front, 3/4, and profile view. If you want to follow my other social media and work, the links are in the description. Finally, if you have any suggestions for future videos you'd like to see, please feel free to leave a comment below. I'll see you guys next time.